Okay, so it looks like Solange is still not a fan of Jay-Z after all this time, because she just made her thoughts known about his Saw allegations. And as expected, she is not here for his BS at all. There have been rumors of bad blood between Solange and Jay-Z for a long time, and even though neither one of them has ever directly confirmed or denied the beef, but there have been some subtle signs over the years. And now with her not-so-subtle reaction to Jay-Z's lawsuit, it looks like things have not improved between them. And that's not all, because Warden Street is that she is putting even more pressure on Beyoncé to leave the marriage with the kids for her own protection. This is about to be a hot mess, so let's break it down, y'all. Looks like Solange might have some type of Jay-Z voodoo doll tucked away somewhere, because she is coming for him hard lately. And not just for a few months either. This has been going on for years, and she is showing no signs of easing up. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's situation seems to be spiraling downhill, and you just know Solange isn't shedding a single tear over it, with the possibility of federal investigations looming, and Beyoncé rumored to be on the verge of leaving him. Things are looking bleak for Mr. Card now. If there's one thing we know about Miss Solange, is that she keeps it all the way real. She doesn't fake the funk for nobody. And if she's not feeling you, best believe it'll show, even though she tends to stay under the radar like her sister. It's no secret that she and her brother-in-law aren't exactly besties. So isn't here for the act, and Jay-Z, yeah, she's not here for him either. I mean, we already kind of peeped this when she laid the smackdown in the music elevator. But this clear Solange couldn't get less about Jay-Z, and word in the streets is she's been working behind the scenes for years, trying to get Beyoncé to open her eyes to the kind of man he really is. An insider say that Solange made it her mission to put some distance between them, and honestly, it tracks. Even though she's the younger sister, Solange has always been fiercely protective of Beyoncé, going all the way back to their childhood. Remember that one time she didn't hesitate to call the cops on their house because she thought that Beyoncé was in trouble.
We were known for music. My sister actually had our family pretty famous for something else. She decided to try to get my boyfriend in trouble because she hated him. She was so jealous because we were best friends until him. And we were...
How old were you guys at this time?
I was 13.
13. The boyfriend was probably 13,
About
14?
13, yeah,
And
14.
your sister?
She was 8.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she's working on Big Sister here.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm still very surprised she did all this. We were upstairs and we were watching TV. Solange was supposed to leave us alone. My mother kept checking on us every hour. My sister walks by the television. She's looking at him like this. And she just keeps walking, and I'm like, after the third time, what are you doing? I'm trying to find my coloring book. So I'm like, okay. So we go try to find a coloring book. My boyfriend and I in my room looking for a coloring book. He's not supposed to be in there. She walks in. We're like, what's wrong with you? He's not supposed to be in here. I'm gonna get you in trouble. So she goes downstairs. Next thing you know, my dad is running up the stairs. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. So my boyfriend is like, what, Mr. Knowles? What? So he is literally trying to kill him. My mother, me, the girls were all trying to fight him. I mean, hold him back. Next thing you know, ding dong, it's the cops.
Oh,
my sister
goodness.
called the police on my father because she said he was gonna kill him. And my dad is like, well, they said that my daughter said they were upstairs having sex. The cops is like, oh, I would kill my sons too. So then my dad is like, Solange, why did you say that? Is it true? And she's like, no.
After all this time, Solange has been thrown in the towel. Sure, she hasn't been able to fully pull Beyoncé away from Jay-Z, but that hasn't stopped her from going all out to shield her sister from the public humiliation and heartbreak. She's been putting in work, doing everything she can to protect B from the messiness that seems to follow Jay-Z wherever he goes. Unless we reel a second for a millisecond, anybody who's even halfway familiar with Beyoncé and Jay-Z knows all about his wandering eye. The man's infidelity is exactly a secret. Beyoncé herself called him out for cheating with a Becky with the good hair. And Ye's, to his credit, own up to it. He's addressed the situation in interviews and laid it all be on his album 444, and it's no wonder Solange has been on high alert, doing what she can to have Beyonce's back through all this. Remember, y'all, Solange legit tried to fight one of Jay-Z's side pieces in public when they ran into each other. Talk about squabble up, because the woman's name was Olivia McFaller, and she claimed said Jay-Z was trying to move to her while he was married to Beyonce.
For the most part, Jay hit me on some, I will reach you when I'm in town.
He wanted you to be his girl Friday.
He wanted me to be his girl when he's in town.
Olivia spilled some tea about how Jay-Z first tried to make a move on her by sending his bodyguard to get her number, but she wasn't having it. She straight up refused, thinking it was rude that he didn't approach her himself. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and the two happened to cross paths again, this time new in Miami. Clearly, Jay-Z had learned his lesson, because instead of sending a middleman, he came up to her personally, determined to get her number. But the FES seemed friendly enough as they chatted in a private corner of the restaurant. But things took a turn when Solange showed up. According to Olivia, Solange was not playing no games. She stormed over, and for a moment it looked like she was ready to throw hands. Squabble up, squabble up. Well, Olivia later opened up about how terrified she was seeing Solange heading her way, making it clear that Beyonce's little sister wasn't about to let anything slide. Olivia said Solange came walking up out of nowhere. I thought I was about to get my butt beat, so I backed off quickly. B doesn't even have to say anything. Solange is a beast. I can't believe I dodged a hoon from Solange that day. She was a big reason for why I left him alone. She gave me a look of death. Very scary. So yeah, needless to say, Solange is not play about Beyonce. Not even when it comes to Beyonce's husband, even though she can barely stand him. But that's exactly why Solange has been putting an extra effort to drive a wedge between Beyonce and Jake, allegedly so far, though her efforts haven't paid off, because Beyonce seems determined to stand by her man as long as everything's smooth sailing. But here's the thing, well, Beyonce and Jay-Z have to project this image of being Hollywood's ultimate power couple. The reality behind the scenes is a bit more complicated. The relationship isn't just about love, it's about business too. With billions of dollars tied up in their union, staying together keeps their music empire intact and secures their spot as the top couple in the industry. It's definitely a high-stakes partnership, and they know their brand is stronger when they're united. But as perfect as things might look on the surface, it's clear there's more to the story. But what's wild about this is that just a few months ago, rumors were flying about that Beyonce was planning to leave Jay-Z and start over. At the time, nobody really knew why. Folks were speculating it might have been tied to that legal drama with producer Lil Rod. But then Homeland Security raided Diddy's properties, and suddenly it all started to make sense. It turns out that Diddy, and by association Jay-Z, was allegedly neck deep in some federal mess. Fast forward a couple days, and boom, RICO charges hit. And now Diddy's sitting in federal custody, and word in the streets is that Diddy's already spilling tea left and right, and now everybody's scrambling to cover their drags. It's no wonder Beyonce been making moves to distance herself from Jay-Z. The last thing she needs is to get swept up in this storm. As for how Ye's got dragged into all this, well, whispers about him and diddy being tied in shady dealings have been spoiling for years. At first, it was just the usual social media chatter, nothing too serious. But then Jaguar Wright stepped in and started making some bold accusations. Cloney's two were wrapped up in some seriously dirty business. Now was looking like those rumors weren't so far-fetched after doing
songs with Biggie and building a working, camaraderie with Honeycomb and Diddy. And
why do you give him the honeycombs? Why do you give him honeycombs?
because he smacks so sweet. That's inside of my anyway.
And now that the feds are circling Jay-Z's businesses, it's starting to look like Jaguar Wright might have been onto something all along. And let's be real, There's no way that Queen Bee is sticking around to go down with this singing. But y'all must not know about B. Y'all must not know about B. She doesn't wait for the storm to hit before making her move. She had her exit strategy mapped out ages ago, probably while the rest of us were still scratching our head. And if there's one thing that she's mastered is keeping her personal life locked down to, especially when the media is sniffing around with a fresh album and a growing empire of businesses. She's not about to let this mess dim her light. It's such a classic Beyoncé play, moving silence, handling her business, and letting everybody else speculate. And the streets are definitely on that speculate, and word it is Beyoncé might be pulling a Will and Jada with her next move. The alleged plan hit us with the "we've been living separate lives for years" line, sprinkling in some "we wish each other nothing but the best" energy, and quietly closed the chapter. According to insiders, she's been playing the long game, waiting for just the right moment, aka the fans making their move before stepping away for good. But blogger Storm Monroe was actually the first to drop this juicy tidbit a couple of months back. Let's just say it set social media on fire, and folks were sidey and Jay-Z speculating and digging up receipts left and right. Now, with everything that's come to light, it looks like Stormy might have been ahead of the curve.
About them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time. So they together, but they living separate. And part of the reason why they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood, is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off or he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it, and he knows it too. As far as who's gonna be the breakout / story, I don't know. Yeah, I might have to ask Jason Lee. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're gonna see Beyonce lose. Okay? And she may or may not do an interview, but their publicist is gonna release something. She's gonna say, oh, the artists have been separated for some time. They built this beautiful life.
And Storm might have set social media ablaze with his comments. But he wasn't the first to hint that Jay-Z's days of smooth selling could be coming to an end. Rumors about Jay-Z facing a similar downfall to Diddy's have been swirling for a while. Lawsuits are reportedly stacking up, and folks are starting to come forward with receipts ready to air out all his alleged dirty laundry. And some are even saying Jay-Z's skeletons might be worse than Diddy's. But difference, he's been careful, painfully so, because he knows exactly how much exposure could cost him. Now, Jaguar Wright, as always, didn't mince her words. She dropped some heavy truths last year, filling back the curtain on Jay-Z's dealings. And let's just say she wasn't afraid to call a house she saw.
John Carter is worse.
Uh-oh. Oh, man.
He's smarter. He's patient. He's not sloppy. He been lining up people he calls friends and stepping to the side while they get hit by the guillotine for 30 years.
At the time, and of course, fans started giving Jay-Z the major side eye after his best he did. He got exposed for allegedly being a creep. So it wasn't exactly shocking when attorney Tony Busby, the SA lawsuit against Diddy. Now, for those of you who haven't been following the Diddy drama, Tony Busby is the attorney representing multiple victims who claim to have been by Diddy. In fact, the law to that named Jay-Z originally involved Diddy and only named Jay-Z as a male celebrity. The lawsuit, which was filed in October this year, said Jane Doe was 13 years old on September 7, 2000, when she tried to attend the MTV Video Music Awards. She could not get into the awards show without a ticket, and therefore approached several limousine drivers after the event to see if she could attend an after party. One of those drivers allegedly worked for Combs and drove the plaintiff to a party where she signed an undisclosure agreement and accepted a drink. They went on to say that after just one drink, the plaintiff alleged that she began to feel woozy and lightheaded. and made her way to an empty room to lie down soon after calls allegedly entered the room with the male and female celebrity. She then alleges that she was essayed by the male celebrity, as the female celebrity watched, before allegedly being essayed by Combs, as both celebrities watched. Well, a couple of days ago, the victim and her lawyer updated her lawsuit to name Jay-Z as the other male celebrity, and according to the updated lawsuit, defendant Sean Combs, along with his longtime friend and collaborator Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z Dread, and a 13-year-old girl at an after-party following the 2000 Video Music Awards. Another celebrity stood by and watched as Combs and Carter took turns as the minor. Many others were present at the after-party, but did not stop the essay. Combs has been allowed for years to conduct himself in this manner without any consequences. He believes that he is above the law. He is not his close friend. Sean Carter has been with Combs during many such instances described herein. Both perpetrators must face justice, y'all. The lawsuit also said defendant Sean Carter is a male who, on information and belief, maintains residences in both New York and Los Angeles. Defendant Carter is more commonly known by his industry name of Jay-Z. Carter was identified in plaintiff's original complaint as celebrity. Prior to the filing of this amended complaint, Carter received a letter from plaintiff's counsel requesting a mediation to resolve this matter. It continued upon present information and belief. Jay-Z is responded to said letter by not only filing an utterly frivolous lawsuit, but by also orchestrating a conspiracy of and bullying and intimidation against plaintiffs' lawyers, their families, employees, and former associates in an attempt to silence plaintiff from naming Jay-Z herein. This effort was meant to scare plaintiff and to discredit her counsel. That effort failed. Indeed, plaintiff chose to file this amendment as a result of egregious conduct perpetrated by Carter. Well, Jay-Z didn't waste no time and immediately sealed it back in a statement where he said, "My lawyer received a V-mail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations, and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud. You are in that very public fashion. So no, I won't give you one red penny." He also threw shade Tony Busby, saying this lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. I have no idea how you come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby, but I promise you I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. My only heartbreak is for my family, my wife, and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. My mourn, yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. He concluded, my heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how the life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chase in a cheap suit. You have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made out the projects of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorist fake physics will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me, that if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids will be laughable, and look forward to showing you just how different I am. Well, the whole situation was a mess on both ends, of course. But Jay-Z accusing Tony Busby of blackmail and extortion, and Busby on the other hand claimed that Jay-Z's team was threatening him and his family. To make matters worse, it started to look like Beyonce's family was against Jay-Z after her mom, Tina Shavy, liked to post about his lawsuit. She did claim that she was being hacked, saying, "I was hacked, as you all know. I do not play about my family. So if you see something uncharacteristic of me, just know that it's not me. Please stop playing with me." However, fans did not buy it, especially because it looks like Beyonce is already starting to distance herself from Jay-Z, and she's already starting to rebrand herself She was recently named one of the most powerful women by Forbes magazine. And fans couldn't help but notice that she was credited as Beyoncé Knows instead of Beyoncé Knows Carter. Y'all want to know who's behind the rebrand? Allegedly Solange. That's who, according to rumors. She's convinced Beyoncé to ditch Jay-Z and move on because the last thing Beyoncé needs is to have this sort of drama attached to her. She has been on a winning streak all year, and Solange is not about to let this drama stop it. This is crazy, y'all, 'cause what a time we are living. But I got to know what y'all feel about Solange trying to break up Beyonce's marriage. Do you think it's true, Cop? Your thoughts and comments below. Then check out this next video.